Pakistan's most popular politician is fighting for his political life.
When Imran Khan was arrested, it was made for TV in a way. Bad TV, I should say.
First of all, this is unprecedented that you would file almost 150 cases on one person,
putting him on a collision course with the authorities. That could set his country aflame.
So this environment became very explosive during the last 1 year. The whole bubble has been bursting up.
If that boiling point reaches, I have a fear. It can be like a volcano.
With the nation of 200 million already facing an economic crisis and the effects of ecological disaster, will the standoff between a former Prime Minister and the ruling powers bring Pakistan to its knees?
My fears is actually, that Pakistan is leading towards a civil war.
May 9th, and Pakistan is burning. Angry mobs march through the streets of major cities, lashing out at symbols of government and military power. In Lahore, the historic Corps Commander House, the residence of the city's army chief, was set ablaze. Reports say many of the protesters are supporters of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, or PTI, an important political party. And on their lips, there was one name.
इमरान खान, मैं इस चीज़ पे कसम खाता हूँ, ये तो मेरा अंगूल टूटा हुआ। अगर मेरा जान भी जाएगा, इमरान खान हमारा रेड लाइन है। जब तक इमरान खान को नहीं रिहा करेगा, तो अल्लाह का कसम, इनका ये हाल बनेगा, ये श्रीलंका बनाएगा, जाति उम्र भी अमन पे नहीं रहेगा, नारा नस्ना उला बगैरत अमन पे रहेगा। इन्होंने पठानों के साथ पंगा लिया, और पठानों का इमरान खान हम मुर्शिद समझते हैं, ये अमल लीडर नहीं समझते। जब तक इनको रिहा नहीं किया, तो ये हालात रहेगा, इंशाल्लाह।
The match that lit the flame of violent protest was struck earlier in the day. Imran Khan, leader of PTI and former Prime Minister, was arrested outside the High Court in Islamabad on charges of corruption.
Well, when Imran Khan was arrested, it was made for TV in a way. Bad TV, I should say. There are a number of issues which make this a very problematic way to arrest him. One is that you're not supposed to arrest someone while they're in court. The second thing that's important to note about the arrest itself was that it was not conducted by the Punjab police. It was conducted by the Rangers. And the Rangers are a paramilitary force whose top leadership is made of retired ex-senior military officers. So the very way in which it happened, who arrested him, have led to more anger among his supporters.
Now, when people saw those images of Imran Khan being dragged, being punched, being hit, and arresting without an arrest warrant, people came out on the street.
The kindling for this conflagration had been gathering for over a year. Beginning in April 2022, Imran Khan, then the Prime Minister, was ousted via a no-confidence vote in Parliament.
174 members have recorded their votes in favour of the resolution. Consequently, the resolution for vote of no confidence against Mr. Imran Khan, the Prime Minister of Islamic Republic of Pakistan, has been passed by a majority of the total membership of the National Assembly.
In his place, Shehbaz Sharif, leader of rival Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz, took the helm of government. But Khan was not in a conciliatory mood. After all, despite his ouster, the cricketer turned politician was still the most popular figure in Pakistan.
I think now Imran has reached a cult status. He's like a populist leader, and he presses all the right buttons. For the youth, he talks about pride, future, everything. He's made for television, he's fit, looks good, talks aggressively, presses all the right button. I think he's the best communicator there. He brought the promise of hope and change. And that optimism, that was, I think, his biggest attraction.
Following the no-confidence motion, Imran Khan and PTI marshalled his millions of supporters and began a year-long campaign of pressure on the government and military establishment. His aim? To force early polls.
अपने पाकिस्तानियों आप सबको आज पैगाम देना चाहता हूं कि आपने जब तक इलेक्शन का ये गवर्नमेंट अनाउंस नहीं करती.
Imran Khan now is convinced that the only way to grab power is by hook or by crook. And therefore, he has come to the conclusion that only by use of force he can get back to power.
Since he was ousted from power in a no-confidence vote in April last year, Imran Khan has repeatedly accused the military of destabilizing his government, being in cahoots with foreign powers, namely, in his claim, the United States of America, to overthrow him.
He's become a victim in everything. So if his government goes down, he's a victim of army shenanigans. If his economy took a downturn while he was 3.5 years, it was because the army's General Bajwa was not letting him carry out his policies, that his work. He's always had a bellboy to blame it on, and Imran always finds somebody to blame it on.
Late last year, Imran Khan and his supporters marched on the capital, Islamabad, to put pressure on the government. But en route, in the city of Wazirabad, the unthinkable happened. While rousing supporters atop a party vehicle, shots were fired at Imran Khan. An apparent assassination attempt. The former Prime Minister was hit in the leg and quickly evacuated. But even as his supporters railed against an alleged plot on his life, from the hospital, Khan poured fuel on the fire.
There can be no investigation if the Prime Minister, the Interior Minister, and this ISI guy, Faisal, Major General Faisal, if these three are involved, there can be no independent investigation.
Without evidence, Khan implied that the government and top military brass conspired to kill him.
It's very significant. I've been in this profession for over 35 years now. I could have never imagined the day that on television programs we would be talking about, this guy's trying to assassinate me, this guy's doing that, this guy's holding conspiracies, and by name. Not even by designation, by name. So this environment became very explosive during the last 1 year. The whole bubble has been bursting up.
A bubble which would burst 6 months later, following Khan's arrest on the 9th of May.
Now, him being dragged out of court, given the context that his supporters know that he's injured, all of this adds to the anger. And so the only way one can rationalize this arrest, the way it was done, is that a strong signal was being sent that the clampdown is on its way and that a line is being drawn by the security establishment.
The government, however, has defended their actions. The show of force was necessary, since attempts to arrest Khan at his home 2 months earlier had been fiercely resisted by his supporters.
We are not protesting anything, we are just guarding Zaman Park. We're just sitting here and they are again pulling us, they are again attacking us.
Prior to this arrest, many efforts were made to arrest Mr. Khan from his house also. And you know it quite well that the way they resisted those arrests, and even his followers or supporters used those petrol bombs.
Irfan Kadir advises the current Prime Minister, Shehbaz Sharif, on legal matters.
And when he was arrested, he was, of course, arrested from the premises of the court, but that was not inside the courtroom. And in Pakistan, it's a matter of common knowledge that anybody whose bail is either refused or who is not on bail, many a times such fugitives from law have to be taken into custody from court premises. I think the state apparatus has been extremely soft on Mr. Khan. If had it been anybody else, they would have by now taken him into custody.
At the heart of Imran Khan's corruption charge is the Al-Qadir University. Khan and his wife Bushra Khan are accused of receiving the land to build the school from businessman Malik Riaz Hussain in an alleged quid pro quo deal to help the tycoon launder money. Khan and his party have denied all wrongdoing.
The land is in the name of the university. The university is physically there. The students are physically studying over there. How can it be corruption? In what way would that be corruption?
The backlash from Khan's arrest was unprecedented. PTI supporters directed their rage at a powerful and, until recently, untouchable institution in Pakistan, the military.
What really caught attention was the fact that military installations and the military's intelligence unit, the ISI, even their installations were attacked. So, for example, the general headquarters in Rawalpindi was attacked. Various commanders' houses were attacked.
I mean, the state institutions were ransacked and their properties were destroyed, or mischief was committed with regard to the properties, and this is something which has not been seen in the last more than 75 years of Pakistan's history.
We knew that if he was going to get arrested, there are going to be street demos and everything. They went out of control. Nobody expected them to be so intense. They happened. The numbers weren't as great on the street as we expected, but the violence was like way out of the window.
The destruction also spread to civilian areas. In the city of Peshawar, Wali Khan's weapons shop, which had been operating for 40 years, was looted by protesters.
ये 9 तारीख था, उस टाइम जुलूस वाले निकल आए थे, तो तकरीबन 12 बजे के साथ हमने दुकानें बंद की और हम घर चले गए। अगले दिन मुझे अबू ने बोला कि बेटा आप ना जाएं दुकान पे, हालात ठीक नहीं है। तो बस मैंने जुलूस का एहतराम करते हुए मैंने बोला यार ये तो एहतजाज है, बस दुकान खोलते ही नहीं है। तो मैं बिल्कुल आया ही नहीं दुकान पे। 4 बजे के करीब मुझे इत्तला मिली कि आपकी दुकान लूटी गई है। जैसे ही मैं दुकान पे आया तो देखा ताले टूटे हुए थे, शीशे सारे टूटे हुए थे और सामान सब कुछ बिखरा हुआ पड़ा था। तो बिल्कुल समझ ही नहीं लग रही थी कि क्या करें। जिन्होंने ये हथियार लूटे ना, तो ये फौजियों पे भी इस्तेमाल हुए हैं, आम लोगों पे भी इस्तेमाल हुए हैं। बहुत सारा नुकसान हुआ है इससे। और ये तो इसलिए नहीं बेचते हैं हम कि लोगों का नुकसान किया जाए, अब हालांकि ये अपनी हिफाजत के लिए कि अपना हिफाजत इससे करें, लोगों को नुकसान पहुंचाने के लिए नहीं होते हैं।
As the violence escalated, the government enacted a partial internet shutdown in response. It also deployed the military to quell protests, which continued into the 10th and 11th of May. By the 12th of May, perhaps in a move to quell the unrest, Pakistan's Supreme Court ordered Imran Khan's release on bail. The Apex Court had ruled his May 9th arrest illegal. Protests abated in the following days. By now, at least 11 people had been killed and over 2,000 arrested. But the crackdown was just beginning. Veteran journalist Sami Ibrahim is a vocal critic of the current administration. A risky proposition in Pakistan.
Press freedom in every time, in every regime, for the last 3 decades, in one way or the other, the journalist They are murdered, and Pakistan was declared a very dangerous place for the journalists.
Ibrahim is the president and anchor at BOL News Network, where he has been vociferous in his support for Imran Khan. The current administration has accused him of spreading fake news. Ibrahim claims that this had put him in the government's crosshairs in the past.
When I was coming out of my office, I was approached by one guy who pretended to be a beggar, but he has a small knife also. So he attacked on me, he came close to me, then another guy was filming, then there were 3-4 other guys, they were waiting. So they all attacked on me. The plan was to abduct me and then take me to the police station, which was nearby, right in front of the police station it happened. These incidents are happening because authorities, they want to control the media. They don't want people to come out on the screen and expose the wrongdoings of this government.
On May 24th, just days after our interview, Ibrahim was again picked up by unknown persons in Islamabad. He disappeared, his whereabouts unknown, until he was released 6 days later.
Those who actually sided with Imran's philosophy, and they were coming out with the news and the stories of that angle, they were all subject to torture, and they were all facing pressure by the government.
It is unclear who seized Sami Ibrahim. Pakistan's intelligence services had denied involvement. What is certain is that in the days following the May 9th riots, thousands were arrested by the authorities. Imran Khan claims more than 7,000 of his followers were detained. Government figures put the number closer to 4,000. Many perpetrators of the attacks on state properties were labelled terrorists by officials.
Terrorism, I think any kind of violent behavior against those who don't agree with you, in very simple terms, according to me, this is terrorism. I mean, in a democracy like Pakistan, or in any developed democracy, or in any democracy of the world, you have to tolerate difference of opinion. There has been so much divide in this country because of this PTI cult following. So PTI had brought politics to that level, to the next level, where everybody was being made to fight each other, and that too on the ground of totally non-tolerance.
The accusation determines how you can try them. So if you accuse them of terrorism and anti-state activities, you can actually push for them to be tried in military special courts rather than the civilian courts. It's been repeatedly highlighted that this is the first attack on military installations. This is taking on the military. There's a great valorization of the importance of the military from the government and the security establishment propaganda machinery itself. The government want to portray them as anti-state, so not just political protesters, but as protesters who are going against the state.
In its 75-year history, the military has held outsized influence in Pakistan. It has seized power in 3 coups. And when it does not hold reins of government, the military remained power brokers behind the scenes.
The military has dominated the political scene of Pakistan, either directly or indirectly. And in fact, when Imran Khan won the election, this was the second time in Pakistan's history there was a transition from a democratic government to another democratic government. So that's the state of play in Pakistani politics. And it's quite well known that to remain in power, one cannot oppose the military directly.
Even the coming in of Imran Khan, a lot of people attributed to the army's thing. Now the army generals, the former army chief himself said we played a role in bringing him in and all that. And I think as time passes by, people feel that right now the involvement of the army might be more a part of the problem than a part of the solution.
As his relationship with the military deteriorated towards the end of his tenure as Prime Minister, Imran Khan turned on his erstwhile allies.
Imran Khan had been creating an environment where it was very clear that his tiff or his standoff is not against the current government, political government, it's against the army leadership, to be more precise.
Imran Khan has immense amount of popularity among specific groups. Many of those who are in his support base are from the urban middle classes. And these are classes that have traditionally supported the military. And this made the military very uncomfortable. They did not want to be seen as being part of the problem. They always like to be seen as part of the solution.
But the burning down of the corps commander's house, that I think was where they made a mistake. I think they overdid it. They overplayed their hands, and now you're seeing the consequences of that.
Imran Khan and PTI were quick to distance themselves from the destruction. But the attacks on military symbols left their flanks exposed. It allowed the authorities to level charges of anti-state activity at Khan and his allies.
It's going to be under the Army Act of 1952, which is an existing law, and they will proceed according to their law. If Imran Khan was one of the masterminds or one of the key planners of what happened on 9th of May 2023, surely law will have its course.
In the weeks that followed, many PTI leaders were arrested in connection with the unrest. In the fallout, members of Imran Khan's inner circle, including PTI Secretary General Asad Umar and spokesperson Shireen Mazari, resigned from the party.
आज से मैं PTI या किसी भी सियासी जमात का हिस्सा नहीं होंगी, क्योंकि मैंने सबसे पहले अपनी फैमिली, बिलखसूस अपनी माँ और अपने बच्चों का.
The way to read these resignations is that there is an attempt to split the party and dismantle the party infrastructure in itself. If you look at Shireen Mazari's case, for instance, he was detained 5 times since May the 9th. The court ordered her release, he was rearrested, etc. So if we believe that there is no pressure against them, we are being delusional.
Shireen Mazari, she is one of the boldest women I've known. Right? She will say things just like that. And I was surprised on that day she was reading from the paper. Shireen Mazari reading from the paper? Give me a break. Something is wrong. It's not Shireen Mazari. I'm sure there is some kind of pressure on them. Now, I obviously believe it's the government who would be trying to eliminate the most solid opponent, one way or another way.
But the government insists that these are not politically motivated persecutions.
You see, the people who have been taken into custody, especially on the PTI side, they are trying to play this political card. They are trying to seek refuge in this as if it's a political thing. It is no politics. The state is not indulging in any kind of politics. State will not indulge in politics. But state is going to be fair, square, straight. And if they have violated the Army Act, and if the offences for which they are charged or they will be charged or a trial takes place, then their conduct will be seen, not their affiliations with the politicians or with the political parties.
Such strong-arm tactics are not new to Pakistani politics. When journalist Matula Jan spoke out against the judiciary during Imran Khan's term, he became a target.
I was taken up by police and I was blindfolded and I was handcuffed and pushed into a police vehicle, and on the way to unknown place I was being continuously physically tortured and abused and taken to some unknown place with blindfolds, and nobody was really talking to me about what I had done. They would only say, you already know it, what you have done, and you should not do such things.
So, for detractors of Imran Khan, his current claims of political persecution ring hollow.
Imran Khan is not willing to accept and confess about his crimes in the recent past. The way he colluded with General Bajwa and General Faz to come into power and to torture journalists and his political opponents. The problem is, when people like Imran Khan call for investigation into the same crimes that he himself had been committing while being in power, he sounds very weak in his argument. Whatever is going on in Pakistan today has been going on for the last 75 years. And unfortunately, the political parties, the establishment, the media, and the judges, none of us have learned any lesson from our past mistakes.
The problem is we have to stop this dialogue at home, where people are doing politics based on slander, based on lying, and where people think that once they get into power, they are all powerful. Anybody gets into power, he tries to hunt the other ones down, the other ones try and hunt him down. Political stability is a system which, unfortunately, I don't think we've intellectually thought through yet. This is the change that we need.
But while the political players continue their brawl, Pakistan is lurching towards an economic cliff. Until recently, Ranir Ahmed's future looked bright. He worked in the IT department of a local newspaper. But 3 months ago, he was let go.
मुझे तो ये जो पाकिस्तान के हालात चल रहे हैं मुआशी लिहाज से ना, बेसिक वजह तो यही नज़र आती है कि ज़ाहिर है उन्होंने भी सैलरियाँ देनी होती हैं स्टाफ को, तो वो अफोर्ड नहीं कर पाते, फिर अपना इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का बिल होता है और भी काफ़ी उनके अखराजात होते हैं इदारे के, हाँ इदारे के, तो इसी वजह से जो है वो मुझे तो यही वजह नज़र आती है.
Pakistan is in the depths of an economic crisis. Year-on-year inflation reached almost 38% in May, a record high. Meanwhile, the unemployment rate has grown from 4.8% in 2019 to 6.4% in 2022. It is projected to exceed 8% by next year.
पैटर्न ही है कि जहाँ जिसको भी फ़ोन करो या जिससे भी रब्ता करो ना, तो वो यही बताते हैं. पहले ऐसा कभी नहीं हुआ है, लेकिन अभी जब जिससे भी बात करो तो वो यही कहता है कि हमारे तो ऑलरेडी डाउन साइजिंग चल रही है, स्टाफ को निकाला जा रहा है और रखना तो बहुत दूर की बात है. अभी फ़िलहाल तो से बाब और रिलेटिव्स हैं मेरे, वही उन्हीं से कर्ज़ा वगैरह लेकर. अभी तो 2 महीने का टारगेट ही बनाया है मैंने, फ़िलहाल जो मैंने कर्ज़ा उठाया है कि 2 महीने में मैंने अपना जो है ना सर्कल चलाना है. तो कोशिश कर रहा हूँ अपनी जॉब के लिए, काफ़ी जगह अप्लाई भी किया हुआ है, मुख्तलिफ वेबसाइट्स पे जाके जो जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ आती हैं वहाँ पे भी अप्लाई कर रहा हूँ. तो 2 महीने में अगर मेरी जॉब हो जाती है तो फिर ये है कि बच्चों को दोबारा से स्कूल जो है वो इनका कंटिन्यू करूँगा. तो नहीं होती तो फिर इससे आगे मैंने अभी नहीं सोचा.
This is one of our biggest economic crisis because we have kind of, we built up all kinds of debts over a bad policy period of the last 75 years that now we've got a very huge debt build up. The problem is that people in Pakistan are not interested in the economy. For us, economy has never been a headline item. We don't really take economics seriously. We're a hypercharged political people. We think of politics only. And we try and conflate politics into economics, right? Oh, it's this country, this government's fault or that government's fault.
The political turmoil since May 9th puts Pakistan's economic recovery at risk. It has jeopardized loans from the International Monetary Fund, loans that Pakistan badly needs to avoid a default.
Pakistan is still waiting for somewhere in the range of almost $3 billion worth of loans from the IMF. Now, if you are a government such as the Pakistani government currently, You have protesters on the street. You have a very popular leader who has been arrested. A popular leader who's accused politicians of being corrupt. Chances are that a government like this would not push unpopular economic policies. So would the government really be willing to push austerity measures at this point of time? And this feeds to problems with the IMF loan going ahead.
At the same time, the instability has given foreign investors pause. International SOS is a health and security services firm that advises clients on in-country risks. Following the May 9th unrest, the firm has received heightened concerns over Pakistan.
Definitely there's an increase in more requests for the tactical intelligence, what's happening on the ground and where the next protest can be and what the milestones are going to be. So we've been discussing a bit more on the tactical decisions such as whether to travel or not to Pakistan, or that's with some of the organizations, what would be the triggers for the evacuation as well. If you're a new business going into Pakistan, the current economic crisis, also the political instability, can definitely impact the business decisions as well.
Remember, the investor wants to see the long term. Investor doesn't invest for today. Investor invests for 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now. So investor has a very long horizon. When the investor doesn't see a long horizon, obviously the investor will not invest. We need political stability. But political stability is not to bring in one party or another. We need a political system that is stable.
Even local entrepreneurs have lost their investment appetite.
My fears is actually, that Pakistan is leading towards a civil war, and that civil war may be, extended to the border wars as well. Pakistan is moving downward instead of moving up. So, moreover, maybe if the same situation proceeds after maybe 20-30 years, our business will also collapse. So eventually, there is nothing to do in Pakistan.
The 36-year-old businessman has made the painful decision to migrate later this year.
Either USA, because my brother is already there, or either it's Australia or UK. Actually, it's a very hard decision to leave Pakistan because, everyone have belongings here in Pakistan. Apart from the belongings, I do have many assets here in Pakistan. But for my kids and for my wife, I'm planning to get PR of any other country and shift my kids and wife over there. And later on, if Pakistan will survive, I'll come back.
He is not alone. It is estimated that in the first 3 months of 2023 alone, almost 200,000 people have left Pakistan.
We have done a survey in PID called the Basic Survey, where we have seen 64% of your children want to migrate. 64% of kids under the age of 24 say we want to leave the country. This country has experienced the biggest brain drain in history, probably. We've had a lot of our best people go overseas, and some of them have very good business, some of them are billionaires, some of them have done all kinds of things. In fact, we should be thinking about bringing people back into the country to invest.
Whenever there is political instability, whenever the rules of the game are uncertain, economy suffers, and your stock exchange index, we know it falls. So the first and foremost thing is to restore law and order in the country. And once this equilibrium is established, I am sure economy will be on sound footings, and people from abroad will bring in a lot of investment into Pakistan, because Pakistan has got a remarkable potential and we have got great resources. And we are a great country in that context.
Yet the current economic malaise could prolong the country's political crisis.
It's very, very tough conditions for people. Inflation is skyrocketing. Unemployment is one of the highest in our history and all that. So obviously people are going to curse whoever it is, and they need to blame somebody. So when Imran Khan points you in a particular direction, they want to believe it because they're angry.
political unrest, as we are seeing, leads to political debates, lack of coherent policy. So Pakistan really needs to have a stable government, and a government that has a sort of tenure of a certain time before these decisions can be made.
As for Ranir Ahmed, like so many others, he has decided his future may lie outside the country of his birth.
इससे आगे का मैंने अभी पहले सोचा नहीं है, लेकिन ये है कि दोस्त अब यही मशवरा देते हैं कि पाकिस्तान में अगर यही हालात रहे तो फिर तो रहना मुश्किल है। हाँ, ये ज़रूर कहते हैं कि किसी तरह कोशिश करके अगर थोड़ा बहुत मैनेज कर सकते हैं तो किसी तरह बाहर निकल जाओ और बाहर जाके रोज़गार ढूंढो। मेरा अपना ज़ाती जो ख्याल है वो तो यही है कि जब तक सियासी इस्तेकाम नहीं आएगा, फ्री एंड फेयर इलेक्शन नहीं होंगे, बाकायदा एक गवर्नमेंट नहीं आती, तो तब तक तो मुझे कोई उम्मीद नज़र नहीं आती है।
With elections due to be called by October this year, what is the end game for the government and Imran Khan? More than a month on from his initial arrest, Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan is increasingly isolated. Many of his allies, possibly under duress, have abandoned him. His party, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, once the country's most powerful, is in tatters.
The main party that has suffered because of this is the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. There's no doubt about it. They have been the main victims. And they have the greatest number of prisoners, people arrested from this and other points in Pakistan, all over Pakistan, where military installations were attacked. There's been a great hemorrhage in the leadership. They are leaving, they are holding press conferences, they are arrested.
Meanwhile, Imran Khan himself faces nearly 150 charges. Many were newly added, implicating him in the May 9th unrest.
First of all, this is unprecedented that you would file almost 150 cases on one person. And if you really see, let's suppose, if I have to appear twice on one case, it will take me 1 year to appear at least twice in every case. That is the implication of these 150 cases on one person.
There is no doubt these are politically motivated charges. And when I say that, I don't mean to say that there is no case at all that Imran needs to answer here. But the timing of these charges, the way they are being played out, there definitely is a political impetus behind these issues.
With these anti-state accusations levelled against him, the authorities want to move the hearings from civilian to a military court. Given his antagonism with the army, this would not be in Imran Khan's favour.
These are going to be very difficult for Imran Khan in the coming months. And we must also recognize that in all likelihood, he's going to be detained fairly shortly. And he will probably be charged in the military courts. So this again would not allow him to have open access to get his message out there.
I think what's more dangerous for him right now is the incidents of May 9. And if they manage to come up with, witnesses, approval witnesses, provers and all that, and if they're able to prove that it was a planned thing and okayed at the top level, I think that could even be a quicker and a bigger problem for him. That's a serious thing because army courts are, like army courts.
But by most estimations, Imran Khan remains the most popular politician in Pakistan by far. The charges against the PTI leader will do little to dent his support.
He has created an aura of himself, as somebody who is beyond any question, or somebody who can never be arrested, or somebody who is somebody who is untouchable. So this kind of attitude towards the law and the legal processes really is creating a lot of problems. So he is becoming more of a cult rather than a politician or a statesman.
He says all the right things that people want to hear. The question is, which is, are the jury still out on that when he was in government, did he also walk the talk or not?
For PTI stalwarts like Senator Mohammed Hamayun Momand, the government's moves will only strengthen their leader.
PTI is Imran Khan. Imran Khan is PTI, right? They are trying to eliminate him in terms of either disbanding the party, disbanding him and things like that, which will be highly undemocratic. Do they think, will it make a difference? No, it won't make a difference. He will become a much bigger personality. We have got the base. We have got the people who are with us. 70% of them are with us. More than that. That's the strength of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf.
But whether PTI supporters will get to vote for their preferred candidate is now in question. The current government's term ends in August, and elections should be called by November in accordance with the Constitution.
As and when the time allows, elections should be held as nearly as possible after the expiry of the term of the National Assembly. And once the elections take place, I anticipate or foresee a very strong parliament. This parliament will be much stronger than what it was in the yesteryears or in the previous years. And the courts will also be brought within their check.
Once the Constitution is obeyed and the Supreme Court is obeyed, elections will be held. And when elections are held, I think there will be a kind of purging of the demon within us.
But some, like journalist Muhammad Malik, are sceptical that polls will proceed as planned, given Imran Khan's popularity.
To be very honest, if you ask me today, I don't see elections happening in October even. If elections are held in October, he will win. And I think the way things have gone between him and the institution, I don't think they can afford it, or they would allow it. A former Prime Minister is accusing a sitting intelligence top official of planning assassination. You think they're going to say, you know what guys, let's forget about it, let's have coffee over the weekend? I don't think so. No, I don't foresee a civil war, but I see what scares me is that if things keep deteriorating like that, we could be looking at a full-blown army intervention.
One of the things that we saw under Imran Khan's regime was the direct involvement of the military in governance. And the current military chief has signaled that that's not the way he would like to go. So signals are that as far as possible, they've drawn a red line now, and they are happy to allow the political process play out, provided Imran Khan is out of the scene.
And in the background of this political tussle is a country reeling from unprecedented disaster. Last year, Pakistan was deluged by a once-a-century flood, which left millions homeless and a third of the country underwater.
Many of the flood victims are still struggling at the moment. Those who are displaced are still struggling with the effects of the flood. It's also devastated parts of Pakistan's food-producing regions as well. But unfortunately, given the political scenario in Pakistan, these decisions have been relegated to lower part of the hierarchy of decision making.
At the moment, it's in a protracted crisis, so it's very important to monitor what's going to happen. The key milestones that we should monitor is definitely economic conditions, whether the country is going to go on the default or not. The second is the elections. elections due by October. As we discussed that we don't know what's happening, but then definitely the how and then who's going to be participating. And then third one is definitely Imran Khan's status, whether he's going to be rearrested. There's any decisive court rulings that could further trigger unrest, or that maybe appease the situation as well.
Imran Khan's bail has been extended till the 4th of July. For now, he is a free man. But it is a matter of time before he is due back in court, and tensions could once again boil over in Pakistan. Already, Khan has urged supporters to take to the streets in peaceful protests should he be re-arrested.
So if he's arrested and convicted, so he can't contest elections and all that, so that's forced exclusion from elections. Any forced exclusion of Imran, no matter how much somebody might disagree with him, would be a very, I think it would have long-term negative ramifications.
In the coming months, Pakistan could be shaped by the showdown between a populist and controversial politician and the might of the current establishment. A fight where both sides are confident of their victory.
Even the longest day comes to an end. That end would be PTI, back in power with a full bloom. That would be the start of the new era, the era where we will take decisions what is best for our country.
Now we see we have Pakistan People's Party, we have Pakistan Muslim League, Nawaz. Both these parties are very, very well entrenched. I am an optimist. I think we are fast moving towards political stability in Pakistan.
The political crisis is only one of a few families wanting to rule. It's totally irrelevant to the rest of us. The rest of the people go out to earn something. We will limp along as we do, making our mistakes, missing opportunities. We missed so many opportunities, and kind of borrowing and begging and getting along. I think Pakistan will continue to limp along.
The growing tide of anti-Israel sentiments. What you see behind me is just tip of the iceberg of what is happening in the country. More than half of $52 billion black CIA budget is spent on espionage network in Pakistan. How would you handle it?
The US has looked upon Pakistan as an ally at one point and then as an enemy at the same time.
That is going to be the first legal reason on the basis of which he is going to be instantly ousted by the Supreme Court of Pakistan.
Joining us live, Javed Rana, who's an expert on politics and geostrategic issues.
In the world politics, which is not being driven by any moral principle, it is being driven by the hard geostrategic realities. In a broader picture, more countries would aspire to have nuclear weapons.